much.
You're welcome. All right. There is someone we have had trying to submit a song for a couple of weeks, and we're going to try something now that we haven't tried before. So bear with us if it all goes pear shaped, as they say in England. Clint Dennis. I don't know if we're going to actually have Clint in the feed, but we are going to try to. There we go. All right. Hey, Clint. We imagine what you look like. So we're gonna play an MP3, and hopefully I'll be able to see the lyrics. Kelly Lynn Knott, who is a fabulous singer-songwriter, is also helping me with this show and doing all this stuff that takes all my brain cells, like pressing buttons. And there we go. Can you hear me now? Beautiful. And let's see if we can actually hear this. And Clint, I don't know if I'm gonna be able to talk to you or have you talk back to me, but I'm gonna give you my assessment of this song. It's a whole other way to do this. We got to keep trying new things. All right, I'm waiting to hear. Kelly's gonna play the song. I'm not hearing it yet. And maybe that didn't work. Did that not work? Didn't work. Hey, Kelly, if you want to, well, no, I'm not operating the machinery. All right,
Hey,
so
Beth,
yeah,
I can um, I can send you the MP3. You should be able to share it from there
I
if you
could
want to
share it
try.
from mine. Okay, why don't you send it to me and I'll just have to get out of full screen.
I can try again on my other machine too, but I'll send
Oh,
it
I
to
know
you.
what you could do. Why don't you text me the MP3 and I'll listen to it and I'll put it up to the microphone. Then I don't have to come out of full screen.
Perfect. Okay.
Thinking all the time, y'all. I'm
Love
on
it.
64, but the brain is still going. I'm telling you. Okay, and Clint, you'll have to forgive me because you won't hear all the bass tones, but we'll get to hear the song, which is the most important thing. So, modern technology. While we're waiting for that, I'm gonna just play something off the top of my head. So when I start a song, you're gonna text it to me?
I
There it is.
did. Oh, you got it?
Yay!
All right,
I
here
got
comes the
it.
lyric.
Okay, I'm gonna put that lyric up here. Sometimes I just impress myself. I'm sorry. All right. Let's see. Gonna wait for that lyric, and then I'm gonna play you this song through these fabulous iPhone speakers. Sorry, Clint. But hey, great songs transcend all this stuff. Here we go. Not bad.
Like a candle in a windstorm, fighting to survive. I sacrificed so much of me just to stay alive. At times I almost gave up when the wolves were at my door. At times I didn't realize what I was fighting for. But I moved on no matter what the cost. Never looking back on what was lost. Can you hear me now? Do you see how proud I am standing here above the crowd? It was a long, hard road. I went stumbling down, but I finally made it. Looks like I made it. Oh, can you hear me now? There were times when I had no voice, no one could hear my plea. I tried pleasing everyone but me. Each step I took forward would take me 2 steps back. Every dream I dared to dream was just beyond my grasp. But I moved on no matter you hear me now? Do you see how proud I am standing here above the crowd? It was a long, hard road. I've been stumbling down, but I finally made it. Looks like I made it. Oh, can you hear me now? Thank God I made it. Oh, can you hear me now?
Wow. Wow, that was something else. Woo, I'm glad we did that. And I apologize, Clint, that we couldn't hear it through the speakers with all the bass, but I could hear that bass thumping down in there. What a beautiful recording and fantastic production and strong performance. And actually, this song is quite airtight. I mean, there's a couple of things I'm going to suggest to you, but before I do, I want you to take in that this is a fantastic song, and it has a lot of strength and coherence already. So what I do when I have a song that's up to that speed is I go, what else can I do and try? And if I do and try some other things, will it then open up to something that I look back and go, wow, that's even better, I'm going with that? Or sometimes I'll try and do other things, and it's a great exercise. It grows me as a writer. And I go, you know what? I think the original is the one to keep. So I'm saying the things I'm going to say to you in the context of that I always strive to go past the finished song to see what else I can dig out in the beyond of that. One of the things that I was, first of all, the melodic structure and the way that it builds and the power of the chorus, melodically, this thing, I just couldn't make it any better if I tried. I mean, it's right there. This bridge for Spring, this is the idea that I mean by the bridge. He went to a totally different chord. He changed the phrasing, and he made this other little sort of vignette. I pick myself up off the ground after every fall, settled not for one thing less than having it all. That is just a really good bridge, really great. It's succinct, it takes me somewhere, and then boy, oh boy, when we go back in that chorus, I'm like, woohoo, we're back in that chorus, and it sounds even bigger than it did before. So one of the things I would look at is, though, from a logistical standpoint, when you get to that first chorus and you say, can you hear me now? When you say now, it's like there's a way that can be interpreted like as opposed to some other time when I couldn't hear you. So can you hear me now? Coming off of that first verse, it's a little bit more of a stretch. On the second verse, you're saying there were times when I had no voice. No one could hear my plea. I tried pleasing everyone but me. Such a strong line. Every step I took forward took me 2 steps back. Every dream I dared, da da da. And then you go into, can you hear me now? Well, you've mentioned the voice and nobody could hear your plea. But even then, there's the, can you hear me now? There's this, whenever you say a you, it's like you're having a conversation. And I wonder what would happen if you played around with changing that one line at the first part of the chorus to something like, you should see me now. I think that would be a really interesting other option. And by the way, if I ever throw out a line and you end up using it and it gets, to be a #1 hit, I don't consider my anything I throw at you in these little song critiques. You can take that and use it. You don't have to put me in as a co-writer or anything. I just wanted to make sure I made that clear to everyone. I'm in a teacher mode right now, so sometimes I'll put a line in there, and if you end up putting it in your song, then take it with my blessing. And I'm not pushing for you changing it to that line. I just want to say I would try 5 or 6 different options of, instead of "can you hear me now," what else could you say there? And it does seem like it needs that now, you know. So what you could say, "You should see me now." Like, so, like a candle in the wind, like a candle in a windstorm, fighting to survive. I sacrificed so much of me just to stay alive. At times I almost gave up when the wolves were at my door. At times I didn't realize what I was fighting for, but I moved on no matter what the cost, never looking back on what I lost, on what was lost, sorry. You should see me now, as opposed to all that other time I just told you about. You should see me now. Do you see how proud I'm standing here above the crowd? Or you could say, "You should see me now." Instead of "do you see," I would play around with, "You should see me now." Oh, it went out of my head. Let's see. You should see me now. You should see how proud I am standing here above the crowd. I would do that. I would say, "You should see me now. You should see how proud," because I like that double thing. And I'd play around with 5 other versions of that. I would play around with lots of ways to get that chorus to pay off. And the thing about "can you hear me now" is it's good, but it got me wondering about, hear me now. What were you not loud enough before? Or did I not? How did I not hear you before? Whereas if you say, "You should see me now," you're saying something about yourself, like, before I was this and now I'm that. Before you couldn't hear me and now you can hear me. Or before, you know, the "hear me" can get a little bit confusing. So I would look at that line. But honestly, besides that, this thing's really good. And you should be very proud of this production and this demo. If you decide to change any of the lines, I hope you can pop this change into this track, because this track is rocking. All right. Thank you, Clint. And sorry we had so much trouble getting you in, and I hope you can forgive me for the MP3 through the iPhone. We're going to try to figure that out for next time. All right. So I probably have time for one more contestant.